Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today in our special series, Fire Prevention Week, and you. I've added that. As we go on,
it's
it's just getting better every time. Mark Malekish is here for the Fitchburg Fire Department. Mark, it's been a fun week, and we've talked a lot of different areas. Today we're going to focus in on the Fitchburg Fire Department itself, as not only are we talking fire safety, but it's also get to know the fire department and what's going on and the things that you are working on. So first and foremost, a big one this year, just if you're looking at things that have happened in your department, you got a new fire chief this year.
Yeah, new boss.
New boss.
Chief Sarver is really stepped in and kind of kicking butt and taking names. We like it. We're really happy. There's lots of work to be done, and he has proven to not be afraid whatsoever to dive into the tough problems and let's make it better. And just as a function of making our response absolutely more efficient, and what it should be, which we've always been an excellent department, but he's going to take us to the next level.
We have the mayor's doing listening sessions, and I've seen him at two of them now, and I'm like, you've only been here a short time, and he's right in there. I mean, when you say dive in, I mean, at first.
I can tell you he has learned some of the ins and outs of this department in lightning speed, and he is right on top of our history, our culture, all of the things that are great about our department. He's dialed in and he understands it, and he's taking those things and using them to our advantage to try and make things better. And I can tell you there's a whole lot of optimism within the department that he's going to take us to the next level. Like I said, we were an excellent department beforehand. We're going to be something to behold down the road here.
Ooh, I'm excited. Well, then that takes us into the numbers. Last year this time, if I recall, Mark, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw that we had our inspection were up significantly. Mm-hmm. We may have saw some risk go down a little bit, meaning that maybe that balance of our fire prevention was working out really well.
So it is. There's one area that I'm particularly proud of. One thing that drives me crazy is false alarms in fire alarm systems. If they're being maintained correctly and they're being used correctly, then there is no reason in the world that we should have too many. I mean, we're always going to have some,
sure,
right? But there should not be an excess. And by the crews getting out and those guys doing awesome fire inspections, following up with occupancies to make sure that the corrections were made, we've seen a huge reduction just in fire alarms alone. We're not taking away any calls because we're still up over previous years in terms of call volume. But to take those false alarms and get rid of as many of those as possible, that means that people won't get accustomed to hearing the fire alarm and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Or it's not a day-to-day thing. When they hear the fire alarm and it's working correctly, they should know this is not normal. We should do something and get out. And that's the goal.
That's impressive. And as I'm looking at the numbers here from 2024 in review, still alarms was at 780, and 2023 was probably a lot higher, right?
Yep. Without having the numbers right in front of me, I didn't memorize them. I apologize.
But either way, I mean, like I said, 780 is a lot of. But that number going down again says some good success there.
Yeah. In terms of previous year, we reduced them in 2024 over 2023. I expect 2025 will see an additional reduction, although probably not as steep because we're getting better compliance out there doing our fire inspections.
So you may have heard the fire trucks go out from time to time. We heard it during our interview today. I heard them come by here. In 2024, 2,875 calls, 244 more calls compared to 2023. This year, you're at 19,559 total calls for the year, and that's a lot.
Yeah, so we're trending to have more calls than ever this year.
Yeah.
They're not all fires. We're an all hazards sort of a department. So even without the additional fire alarm calls, we're still going to be up over previous year in terms of call volume. We're just getting busier and busier. It's a function of living in Fitchburg. We're one of the fastest growing cities in the state for sure. As we get more people living and working in Fitchburg, we're going to get more calls. It's just the way it is. So the trick now will be to keep up our resources with call volume.
Absolutely. And they said some pretty staggering numbers there. You break it down. It's kind of interesting as I look at Station 2 and Station 3, trying to figure out who ran more calls. It's pretty evenly split.
It is.
Station 2 had 1452 versus 1412. There's not an advantage of working at one firehouse versus the other then, huh?
No, both of them keep sort of equally busy. We have our days where one house runs and you think to yourself, I'll bet you those guys would like to eat lunch sometime soon. And then the other house turns around and they might not sleep.
Man.
So,
well, that's harsh on reality of being in public safety. Is that you're always on duty, so to speak. Another area that I'm really proud of, and we're working on a pretty cool video right now, and is the training. The training happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I may have not really recognized the scope of just how much is happening even day to day from behind the scenes perspective, but total training hours, 5,180 hours. How do you really explain to people that you are nonstop training all the time?
That's literally it. As we speak, right now, both engines are over at Firehouse 1, and we had some cars donated to us for extrication training. So we had a total of 6 cars donated. Each shift, we have 3 shifts. Each shift is set up with a 2-car accident for them to train on. So right now, both trucks are over at Firehouse 1 doing training on extrication. And that's just what they do during the day. When they're not out doing fire inspections or they're not doing station duties and cleaning, we have very motivated firefighters who love to train. So they're doing it every chance they can get.
Yeah, I was surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be because I'm with you guys a lot and understand that training is happening all the time, but every shift that comes on, they're doing some type of training.
Yep.
Some more than others, but nevertheless, that is top notch. And that's really what keeps this department, I think, why it's the best department. But more importantly, it's keeping you guys on the ready for anything because you're keeping all those skill sets up.
Yep. It's been proven over and over again through whatever study you want to talk about, whatever discipline, whether it's flag football or professional football or firefighting. You've got to be good at the basics. And our firefighters are out there practicing the basics every single day. And usually there's a group of them that'll get together after they're done training and there's nothing else going on. They'll do some more training.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible. And it makes the department just a tiny bit more special, I think, just because the willingness to want to train, to want to be better, to want to, it's not something that's always instilled and just because, right?
Well, 100%. I think that some of Fitchburg, maybe even the residents of Fitchburg they don't realize that Fitchburg Fire Department is one of the most recognized fire departments in the state. And we are looked up to by so many fire departments. Through my years, I've gotten to know people around the state, and I get calls all the time. Hey, what are you guys doing for this? And we're happy to share, right? But people are looking to Fitchburg Fire to see what we're doing because they want to emulate. And that's pretty cool.
One thing I just learned from an interview we were doing with a firefighter, he was talking about the skill sets. Everybody comes in with a kind of different skill set, which kind of is unique. It's something you may not know of, but as somebody comes in from a firefighting career, they might have other skills in mechanics. They might have woodworking. They might tell us a little bit about that part of using everybody's skills, because to me that was kind of surprising. I didn't know that they were an expert, and that kind of adds better things happening at the fire department. So choice words here, but
I'll give you an example of one of our lieutenants. He does woodworking on the side. He has a side business. That's what he does when he's not working. His acumen in construction tactics or techniques being able to put things together allows us to build props that are much better suited to helping us learn those basics and maintain those basics, but then switch it up. Make things, once we've got the basics down, we need to be able to adjust to whatever. And when you've got people out there who have these kinds of skills, they can put together different trainings that work better for them, right? Yeah. We have so many sub-disciplines in the fire service that really, if you can find somebody who's good at photography, we need somebody who can take good pictures at fire scenes. I need them for investigations. We need them for our social media. Who'd ever thought that fire photography would be a skill that could be used in the firehouse? But it is. It's
just kind of one of those unwritten things that you don't, unless you know,
yeah.
Right? I think that's just kind of a cool added benefit that makes the department just a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Is the people. And finally, on the staffing side of things, I know staffing's been it's a challenge in the industry, public safety in general, not police, fire, EMS, pick your poison. The challenges with that and continuing to grow the department, where is that going in the future, big picture wise? Is it still hard to get more people on board, or where does that look like?
Big picture wise, I'll just be upfront about it. It really would have been helpful if the referendum had passed. It was intended to be mostly a public safety referendum, and we really would have benefited from the firefighters that would have brought. So without that, we're forced to continue trying to find alternative ways to staff. We're to some degree changing our model a little bit. It's the same base model, but making some tweaks so that we can make sure that we have adequate coverage 24/7 so that we can get our trucks out the door and try and keep up with the growth. And that's where Chief Sarver's acumen in terms of department management is really going to come in handy. But it's always a juggle, and right now we're recruiting for paid on-call firefighters, paid on-call battalion chiefs. We need people to come in and help us out. We even have support staff who help us in ways that aren't necessarily firefighting. And we're looking for support people as well. If there's somebody out there that wants to bring their skills to the fire department and put in some time, let's talk.
Doors open.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, I appreciate you bringing in the perspective from the fire department. A lot of great things happening there, a lot of great things to come as I hear it. And we're going to continue to have Mark on every month. He keeps coming in here. Hopefully he'll keep coming in here and doing it. But Mark, appreciate the time and work all this week on sharing all this great information.
It has been excellent. And I can tell you the fire department, specifically me, appreciates all the time that you guys give us. We're happy to come in and talk fire.
Oh, I love it. I enjoy it. And hopefully you have as well. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.